morning inside the 805 Spotlight. Of course, we like to highlight people right here in our community. Could be a local business, local event that's happening, local artists, and in studio, back again, Lil Chino of double SSOL in the building. What's up, man?
Hey, good morning, Mambo. Thank you for having me.
Thank you again for being here, bro. When you reached out and you said you had a project dropping, it's always good to let the 805 know when people here are putting in work, bro. And you've been doing that for a while, right?
For a while, yeah. 19 years now.
Man. So did you get into this as a hobby? And when you did you think you would be doing it for this long?
Never. I got into it as a young teenager. Never really saw the future. Never really thought it was gonna be more than just making a couple of songs locally with the camp around town. Yeah, and it's been a blessing for sure, man.
And you've Sarah, a lot of people in the 805 know her as Sarah S.
Yes.
She's been in the game for a long time.
Yes.
And by a long time, I used to sell CDs at the swap meet in the 90s. Her CDs are the ones that I would sell.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you collab with her.
I did. I reached out to her maybe around 2007, 2008. I had my first album at the time. Reached out to her and she was super humble, super down to earth. Reached right back and said, "This is what it takes for us to collab. Let's do it," and we did. And I've been working with her ever since. I want to say she's probably the most featured artist on any of my productions, any of my creations. We have a number of songs together, and anytime that I get her on any of my hooks, it just takes that track to another level, man.
Nice.
And do you remember the first time you heard one of her songs?
I do. I was in I want to say 11th grade in high school, and she had just dropped her solo CD.
Okay.
And it was like a old school kind of remix to one of her tracks, and a buddy of mine showed it to me. We were in woodshop class, and he goes, "Hey man, check this out." I was into Triple C and CLS at the time.
Hey, shouts out to them. I was gonna say their releases. They were like Santa Maria, Napomo area.
Yes.
And they were like some of the first ones to actually drop like the land stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Those were all my inspirations right there. Growing up and listening to their stuff, and I said, "Hey man, these guys represent the 805. Where are they from?" And then I found out, Santa Maria, Napomo, and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, man." So all those guys were my inspiration, and years later, I was blessed to be able to work with all of them. Be able to collab with all of them, and it was for sure a bucket list item for sure, man.
And there's a lot of artists now who are definitely representing the 805, and I like how sometimes you hear it and there's that 805 flavor because they either sample some old school. I don't know if you've checked out Jamie's album.
I have.
She really like went in, and that to me that's like a 805 classic right
there. For
sure.
Sure. That lets you know where the sound is being created and where it's coming from. I've worked with other artists that tell me, "Man, anytime you guys do anything, you could just tell it's 805."
Yeah. And you got a project that's the moon and back.
Yes, SSOL to the moon and back. It's an album. I haven't put out an album since 2018. 2018 was my last album that I put out. It was my solo album. So SSOL is basically a group, Smooth Styles of Life. I do a lot of solo stuff now. My partner, he got into graphic designing, so he does graphic designing. He designed the cover on my new album, and he's gonna design the rest of the artwork. I'm actually gonna put out a CD. I know people don't really do that anymore these days, but I'm a little old school that way, So I'm gonna put out my first double disc LP album. Yeah, it's 28 tracks on this project. A year in the making.
And when is it coming out?
This Saturday, January 27th.
All right, man. So look out for it. Is it going to be available on streaming platforms too?
Yes, it's dropping on all streaming platforms at first. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all that stuff. And then around February, I should have it available in physical from the manufacturing plant.
All right. So to keep updated, how can people give you a follow on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff?
I like to keep it simple. SSOL 805 on all platforms. And if you want to check out the videos on YouTube, it's under the channel Street Hustle Records.
Street Hustle Records on YouTube. Make sure you check it out. And this song that we're about to get into, what's the name of it and who's featured on it, man?
This song is called Wings to Fly. The feature is, of course, Sarah S., the very talented one. Yeah, and then my buddy of mine, 815, which is a local artist from Fillmore. On this project right here, it's a lot of local talent. My town has so much talent these days, so much of the young guys that are very, very talented. So I'm giving back to them on this one, doing kind of what was done for me years ago and trying to do the same.
That's dope, man. So we're going to get into it right now. It's Wing to Fly. It's Lil Chino of SSOL. Check it out. New music right here. Q95.9, mambo in the morning of the 805 Records, inside the 805 in studio with us. Lil Chino from SSOL, Smooth Styles of Life. Got a project that's dropping on your birthday, bro.
On my birthday, yeah, my 40th birthday, man, January 27th.
Happy birthday. How old were you when you started?
I was 17, 18 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's super dope to still be able to do it, man. I know, you know, as we get older, you know, I feel like we have to hang on to those things that makes us feel young and still want to be doing, being out there, bro.
Definitely, definitely. You gotta do what the soul wants, man. What feels right.
Yeah, I didn't want to be like my jefe, stay home and watch Smash. Remember that show?
Not
yeah.
MASH.
That was a boring ass show. Right
And
there.
when MASH used to come on, I would be like, oh yeah, it's time to go to sleep. I'm
Right?
late.
Yeah. You see those choppers coming in?
Yeah.
And, all right, time to go.
Man, but Lil Chino hanging out with us, and he's got this his project that's dropping, like I said. And the song that we just played, we're going to be playing it again pretty soon. What's the name of it and who's featured on it, man?
The song is titled Wings to Fly. It features Sarah Shine, aka Sarah S., and 815. Produced by Jay King's Production, which is our in-house producer. He's the guy that started it all. He's
Right.
the one that started all the music back in Fillmore in the late 90s, early 2000s, and you know, we've been doing it ever since.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of I used to have a studio in Fillmore.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was a trip because you'd be surprised how many little hidden studios there is in the 805.
Oh yeah.
And people roll through. There's some big names that roll through.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and there was a time where I wouldn't let people use my restroom because it was my studio was in the garage.
Yeah.
And it was a trip to have to tell people no.
Yeah.
Because like, nah, go to McDonald's, bro.
Yeah. I had to build a restroom outside of my studio to have people come by and use it.
I'm telling you, bro, the work that goes in when you try to do music, it's like, you know, once whether you're in a relationship or you're doing it at your parents' house and they give you the green light, you don't want to disrespect the house.
Exactly.
So like you're extra careful.
Yeah.
So like you building that restroom makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, I tell all my clients, I said this is a private residential studio.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, it's not what you're used to.
Yeah, man. But the project drops. You said Saturday.
This Saturday, yeah, January 27th on all streaming platforms, and physical CDs will be available around February.
Why the CDs, bro? Like I'm interested.
Japan wants it, man. Japan and France have always been a big influencer of my music, and they've always showed support, man, from day one. Sarah opened some doors for me back in the day. She was able to get me a distribution with Cisco Music back in the day out in Chatsworth, and ever since then, Japan and Italy and France, they've always shown love to me in my music, man. And
That's great.
yeah, so Japan keeps asking for it, France keeps asking for it, and I said, why not? You know, another thing is, like I said, I have a lot of young, talented dudes on this project from Fillmore, and I want them to be able to hold a physical CD the way that I did back in the day.
Right.
The way that I held it and I saw my name on that CD and said, oh man, we were a part of creating this. I want everybody to have that feeling, you know, before it completely goes away.
Yeah, man, and it's a trip. Like a lot of people, and I came across certain artists, and I don't want to say his name, but I had invited him to the station one time.
Yeah.
And he pretty much said like, I don't care about radio, bro. Like, you know, I get my streams or whatever.
Yeah.
But when we had him in here and he heard his song, I looked at him and I was like, this fool's excited.
You
Like,
saw that look in his eye, exactly, yeah.
And now every time he's gonna drop something, he'll hit me up.
Yeah,
and I'm
can I
just
come
like,
by?
all right, yeah, which is cool, man. Like
Yeah.
I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, streaming is not for everyone. You know,
Yeah.
radio's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I understand. We all
Yeah.
grew up different, but you know, like there comes that feeling, like when you said, like you know, holding that actual physical CD, and
Yeah.
you're like.
You were a part of this,
Yeah.
you know, and then just new experiences. It's always good to have new experiences.
And besides this project that's dropping, do you have other stuff in the works for this coming year?
Definitely, you know, keep creating. I have a couple of shows that I'm talking to people about, doing some charity events around the community. Recently I got reached out about that, so I'm gonna get some more information on that. As soon as more information is available, then I'll definitely put that out there. I have another collaboration with some other Japanese artists that have been kind of on hold, waiting for me to finish up this, get started on that, and then just merch. You know, we always got merch. Like I said, my partner's a graphic designer. My producer is also a silk screener, so we do a lot of in-house. Everything that gets done in our label is always in-house.
You know what's the trip is I seen your hoodie, and I looked at it and I was like, I'm wearing that shirt, and I didn't realize that it was your guys' brand because we get so many free shirts here, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
no, it's dope. This particular one, which is my Chevy bow tie, this release was off my 2018 solo album. This design was done by my buddy Zisto out from Italy.
Okay.
So he designed this logo. I kind of did a little kindergarten mock-up and said, "Hey man, can you do something like this?" And then he did this beauty.
Yeah. I could see that being big with the car clubs and the car show scene right
yeah,
there,
that was the idea of it. The song was titled Chevy Bow Tie. So
okay. Yeah. And then that rim is a classic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dayton wheel, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The Hunter spoke right there.
All right. So we're gonna play your song, and before we do, anything else you want to put out there, bro?
Just want to thank God. Want to thank my family, everybody listening and tuning in, and everybody that supported our dreams since day one. Man, we were just a couple of guys from Fillmore, regular guys, you know, just trying to make some music, and had no idea that 19 years later we would still be here, you know, and people still want to listen, especially people all over the world.
That's dope, man. Who would have thought, you know, Japan would be one of your biggest markets?
Still to this day, man. They're shout out to Japan, shout out to Fung G, shout out to the homie 2J, and everybody else out there that's showing love, man.
What about the merch? How can people get that?
SSOL.bigcartel.com. And then also on Instagram, you can direct message me, SSOL805, or streethustlerecords@gmail.com. Any sort of way you can contact me. I sell the merch directly myself. Even if you go through Big Cartel, it's coming straight through me.
Okay, so SSOL805 on all the social media platforms if you want to find them. And YouTube, it's Street Hustle Records, correct?
Street Hustle Records, yeah. And then if you want to look at the merch directly, SSOL.bigcartel.com.
All right, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us this morning, and you know, giving us a chance to play your music. And we're gonna do the song once again. Why don't you go ahead and introduce it, bro?
This next track right here off the new album, To the Moon and Back, dropping this Saturday, Wings to Fly, featuring Sarah Shine and 815. Check it out.